And she's hearing it.
Yes, yes,
Health wise, I'm feeling FINE.
Wow, yay. I'm telling you. So tell us, give us your little secret to live so long.
My secret?
Yes. Share it with us so that we can live long like you. And
well, you know what? I don't know if you will accept it.
Yes.
But you know what my secret really is?
Yeah.
At this present time, in this age, PRAYER.
Wonderful.
I don't know if I spell it right.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That is what I love to do, not only on a daily basis.
Right.
You hearing me?
Yes.
Not only on an hourly basis. I'm telling you the gospel truth. On a minutely basis. I pray every minute in the day.
Nice.
To who? Eh?
To God.
She want to hear?
Yes.
To the creator of heaven and earth. That's the person. You know who the creator of heaven and earth is? That's the person that I pray to on a minutely basis. When you're sleeping, I'm praying. Thanking God. Oh, boy.
Yes. Give him praise. So tell us what you would you say to the young people in Antigua and Barbuda?
I really don't know what I can say to the young people because this is a different age.
Yes.
This is not in the days when I was growing up. For I don't know if the young people today listens to the older people of yesterday.
Very good. So thank you, Mother Motley.
Yes, ma'am.
And we do enjoy this moment with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Celebrating with you.
Yes, ma'am.
This momentous occasion.
Yes.
Of 107. It's a wonderful month.
SEVEN.
Yes.
Very good. Very, very good. Thanks for sharing.
You don't have to sing. They're singing it for us in the background.
He sounds so strong and firm.
Yeah.
Leslie. That's ours.
Yep.
You can say that. That's ours.
So that was pretty cool.
It was very cool.
Ada, don't you find she look a lot like Kadena?
Kind of scared me. I tore my
She look a little bit like your mother too, to be honest.
all the stuff on the couch so I can hide inside.
Let me turn that off.
That would our house.
Get out of this.
7 on Thursday. What happened to Raj?
Miss Grace, ¿cómo está?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Check the headpiece.
Hello.
Huh?
Hey there,
I
Grace.
bought my headpiece and my out.
Yes.
There you go.
Nice.
It's long and it has a screw. This was made in Nigeria.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Hey. So, Grace, did you want me to pull up the pictures?
Just a few pictures because I had more, but this is a hectic month. I have
Okay.
a presentation tomorrow and I have one day after and I had one on the 25th too.
Okay. So just so that folks know, this is Black History Month in Panama?
No, this is Afro-Descendants Month. But I must let you know that in reality, the government approved the 30th of May as the Afro-Descendant Day. And we have, right now today, they're having a parade. Every day we have something. Why? Because we, the Black people, when they give us an inch, we take a yard. So we decided to take the whole month. We have tomorrow, we have his Platts Day, and we're going to explain to the little girls how they're supposed to fix their hair. And every day we have something, every single day, all day. And those who don't know they are Black, they will realize that everybody's grandmother that was Black, and you know, because we are all mixed. And I understand how somebody will be much more clear than me. And my nose is, their nose is broad and the lip is thick, and they don't know who they are. And that's the scenario that we have. But anyhow,
Yeah, let
when
me
you're ready for me,
almost give me a second. I have
yes,
to.
you go ahead.
Let's see. There we go. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. So you want me to start with anything in particular? Let me see what's going on here. So the way I got these pictures is sort of like this. Is there a particular way that I should be showing this? Grace, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Let's just go through the pictures. One of the things then that I would like you to carry away today is how important our forefathers were in the construction of this country. And not only in the construction of this country, we have to start putting our children to look at YouTube, in which they are talking about the African communities and all of the different Mansa Musa and all the Black pharaohs and all of that, because we were taught that the Blacks were brought as slaves and that we were very happy as being slaves, you know, and that we were savages. But what they have done with us, years, the Israelites were in slavery, all kind of the Chinese were in slavery, but no slavery was like the slavery and the humiliation that they put us, the Black, through. But I'm going to read to you what I wrote that is in my heart, and I'd like to emphasize that when I finish here, that you get up and you feel like you have to go out and let the people know. You are a descendant of great people, and that we were brought here forcefully. And anytime you go to Canada and you look at all the fanciness, and when you go to England and you say, oh, England looks so beautiful, remember that all of that was built on our sweat. Queen Elizabeth is rich because they went to Africa and they take all what they wanted out of Africa, the gold and all the things that the people were, they melt it down. Even when you go to England, it's landscape. How much money take to landscape? How many castles they have? Money stolen from us. We were the free labor force that built the world. And we have to remember that. So I am ready now to talk about what's happening in Panama. These are pictures that you're seeing here of some of the Black communities. The houses were wooden houses, and we see some pictures too of many Black people, the women well-dressed, because you know one of the things that we know to do is to be well-dressed. This picture that is here is the men coming down from work. We have pictures there of the men working out in the canal. Can you hear that music of see the men working? These are pictures that you can find on the internet. But when we see it, we must remember those are our people that came. So let me tell you the story. Let me tell you a little bit of what I wrote and what I know because I am a Panamanian. I was born in 1946. I've lived long here. And this country, when I step, I am not scared to talk because I have as much right as anybody else.
Grace, did you want to share your screen or anything?
No, I don't want to share my screen.
Okay.
I'm going to read there, and what you have in there, that is good enough for me.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yes.
Just one.
You just dropped off.
Looks like she went to get something.
Oh, okay. I'm still looking at the pictures.
Okay, good. In 1903, the Republic of Panama separated from Colombia after many years of voluntarily being one of its provinces. Because of the construction of the canal, the United States of America was going to construct, and what they did is they brought many workers from the Caribbean islands to work. Why? Because they did not have enough workers locally, and many of the workers did not, some of them didn't have the skills, and some of them did not speak English. So therefore, what they did is follow the same pattern that the French did when they were going to build the railroad. Because in about the end of the 1800s, what they did is the French started first with the canal, they built the railroad and everything like that, and that brought workers from Jamaica. But what happened? The British government, after the construction of the railroad here in Panama, some of the Jamaicans had to go back to Jamaica. And there was no way to get them back, and the British government had to take their money to take them back to Jamaica. So therefore, they were reluctant to release the Jamaicans to come over again to Panama to work on the canal without payment of a repatriation fee from the US or from the Panamanians. Most of the workforce came from Barbados. Most of them come from Barbados. The bigger part of the community came from Barbados. More than 200,000 men and women came from Barbados to build this canal. Some came from Martinique, some came from St. Lucia, and some from Trinidad. Very few came also from Spain. Now, when you hear names, if you come to Panama, you're going to hear certain names. Don't expect necessarily for them to speak English, but it's our names. When you hear Aline, and I'm talking about my friend, Aline, Arturo Aline, that's my friend. And you know that they're Barbadian. When I was a child, and some of the older people that I met, I knew they were Barbadian because they had a slang. They talk like Ari. And when I heard, when I used to hear the conversation, I have things written, but you know, sometimes I was getting my spontaneous, feeling of this thing. And I used to hear them. My grandmother that I grew up with was born in Costa Rica. Her father was a Jamaican. My grandfather and mother's side, Jamaican. So therefore, Grace always say, I'm a descendant of a Jamaican. And my grandfather, that was a Jamaican, he was a baker, made a bun that it was out of sight, and he could bake, and he was a cook. So when I get in the kitchen, I am a bad master in the kitchen. My grandfather, the Jamaican. So my grandfather always used to say that when you're serving him, he said, he don't eat like any babat. He's not a Bajan man. Because the Bajans eat and they put all the food in the same plate. When you serve my grandfather, you have to put a little plate with the rice and a little plate with the meat. And if you put in a little or whatever, you put everything, So I said, well, I am a descendant of Jamaican. So even though with the having any things that is with the Jamaican and my friend, everybody mixed up, and I know to cook. I know to cook a little turn cornmeal and a little cuckoo, and I know to do every little thing because we mixed up completely. But when you hear the older people, you know the sound of how they speak with that song, And I had a speech last the 11th, And I spoke about a lady named I think her name probably was Latimer. But Miss Lati was that when she opened her mouth, I couldn't understand her very much because of the way she speaks like a Bajan person. No, Aline, Brathwaite, Brownie, some of them take off the E. Of course, the Daisleys are there. I didn't know much Daisleys. Griffith, Anita Griffith, that's my friend. King, Williams, the boys, Mr. Bess, the Marshall. That I'm telling you, my people that I know with these. Greenwich, Leonard Greenwich, that's my good friend. And Leacock. I had a boyfriend named Leacock. I didn't know he was a Bajan. I just get to know that he's a Bajan. But you know, when you see the names, you know Maxwell or Banfield. I have a good friend named Raisa Banfield. And she knows that she's a descendant of Barbadians. You know, Agard, a very good maths teacher is Egberto Agard. So these are some of the names that are on the Panama Canal Registry of Barbadians who came and worked, some as laborers and some as office workers and timekeepers. Your family, my family. During the construction days, they used to be recruiting men between about 18 and 25 years old first. Why they were taking that age? Because that was the productivity years. But eventually they started taking boys between 14 and 18 and just putting them to work as water boys to take the water to the field to give the workers. These were very productive years for both the younger boys and for the older one. More than 200 of them came. Of course, if you come to Panama, you won't see all of them, but that magnificent, one of the wonders of the world, that is the Panama Canal, our blood is there. Because of the hardship during the initial stage, men rebelled and demanded that they bring women. The men went on a strike and they said, no woman, no work, they claimed. And so the Panama Canal Company, under the US government, was forced to bring the woman also in order to continue the job. Living conditions were atrocious. Hygiene, they had to build, the Americans had to build street, they have to clean up the place and teach the people how to control the mosquitoes, because we had two things that was against us in the construction of the canal. We had the malaria and we have yellow fever. Many people died from yellow fever or from malaria, or some of them died on the construction site because of landslides. I'm not saying one, two people, a lot of people. They said that some days at the end of the day, the train brought the carts full of bodies of people that had died for something. Accidental explosion of dynamite. What it is happening? The workers were given strychnine to counteract the malaria. One of the side effects of strychnine is that you stay deaf. So you imagine a deaf man have to go and put the dynamite where they have to blow up the mountain. And when the supervisors blow the whistle, when they blow the whistle, you have to seek refuge or get out from where you are. But they could not hear. You think the white man is going to go down there to call that black man that is where the dynamite is? No, he is dispensable. And what happened? They were blown up. And that is why we have a place by the name of Culebra Court, where many are buried, as it was hard to pick up pieces of body for burial. Now, in the Isthmus, there was a lot of discrimination, both from the North American and from the local Panamanians also. Even though most of them were Afro-descendants, they considered themselves to be colonial blacks that came before. So they didn't consider you as being part of the country, even though you have been born here. My father, for example, was born here, and his sisters too. A lot of people are born in 1910, but still they were not considered citizens of the country. No, the black from the island were always considered as foreigners to a long a period of time, till in the 40s, in which when they were able to claim their citizenship. Children were not accepted in the schools. And therefore, as we are creative, we set up our own system. First, with women giving classes in group, in little kindergartens, where you learn to read and write. I don't know if you all remember, any of you ever used the Royal Reader? We taught the children, I learned to read English on with Royal Reader. That's why I'm perfectly bilingual. Perfectly bilingual because the English was spoken and the language it was taught using the Royal Reader. No, Royal Reader for reading and your basic arithmetic. No, some of the men were permitted to lease land and to do a little farming to subsidize certain food that we customary use. Like for example, yam, yuca. Yuca is what you all call what they call yuca.
Cassava?
Cassava.
Cassava. I don't know if you know something named dashin. Dashin is ground food, a lot of ground food that they planted.
That's Jamaican.
A lot of breadfruit. And because ackee is a staple, you know, we use a lot of ackee too. We also had our own midwife who were very good at what they were doing, delivering babies at home. Men got together and created lodges and societies to help and support each other in time of need. They initiated what now is a very popular thing in Panama, where they talk about the susu. But I don't know that is the susu. They hold the susu to the Black people. A practice to this day to help accumulate money. We do it the same way it is done in the West Indies. The communities were segregated and the workforce also. We had what they call silver roll and gold roll. Gold roll had their own toilet, they had their own water fountain, they had their own living quarters, their own commissary. They could not even walk in the gold roll communities because they say you were loitering. When they finally decided to set up a school system for the Black, it was segregated until about 1963. Can you imagine that? The men were used initially as teachers. Look how wicked these people are when they want to dehumanize people. Teaching was considered a feminine activity. And so, as to belittle the men, only men were hired as teachers, as is to say, y'all are here to do a female job. Independent schools were formed. And we have squad schools that taught a high-level English with a lot of maths, as Teacher Maynard School. Teacher Maynard is probably one of my father relatives, Teacher Philip, Teacher Burke, that these were teachers at independent school. Now, Barbadians, Bajan, Babat. Today, there are many of us. We are Afro-Panamanians and have built this country. We have contributed in many areas. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have lawyers. I have a friend that she was the magistrate court, the president of the magistrate court. So she was one of the main figure in command of the country, Graciela Dixon, and she is descendant of Barbadians. Teachers, politicians, in all works of life. One of my sister-in-law was the first Afro-descendant dean of the School of Medicine of the University of Panama. We have all people in all walks of life. There's still some discrimination, but we are ready and willing to stand up for our rights. Right here you have your cousin, and I didn't bring some of my things in, that if those of you are Panamanian and have heard about the 9th of January, 1964, I am from that generation, National Institute, 1964. They said that all we were good to do is throw stones, but the canal became ours because I was out there with my classmate when we were throwing the stones so that we could get back the canal, because that too was something that was not well done. But that's another story. Now, the month of May, we commemorate Afro-Descendant Month. The government approved the 30th of May as a special day dedicated to us. But 1 month is not enough for us to remember all the atrocities that were committed against us as a race. We were extracted from our homes, forced to work to build up England, France, Spain, United States, etc., Canada too. Dehumanize, stole all our past history and riches, destroyed our civilization. We need to talk. We need to write. We need to sing, lest we forget who we are or where we are coming from. We are the descendants of Black pharaohs, Mansa Musa. We are not the descendants of savages nor thieves. We are a resilient and a strong people, and we and our children must know. And that's my hope I participated and share with you my passion for this, because the world, the 19 the period for Afro descendants ends in 1924. We need to get up and talk. We need to pick up what belongs to us, because all those countries that you all are living in which they want to act like if we're a second-class citizen, they are built upon our sweat and our strength. And what they're supposed to do is restitution should come. And when it's going to come, I don't know. If it's in my lifetime, if it's not, those of you who are younger than me, take the baton and run with it.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Very passionate.
Yes.
Beautiful, wonderful. Thank
That
you.
was
so
that was
much.
beautiful, Grace.
If you want to see Grace get passionate, let her do it in Spanish.
Yeah.
The whole place. I actually couldn't understand, but I sat down there and I could. She was, you see that hand moving? That was nothing compared to things.
Yeah, that was great.
I was asked Mama Gibson, what was your experience in Panama growing up?
My experience is the same thing that she talked about. My grandfather building the canal. My grandfather did build a canal for 10 cents an hour.
Yes.
My father came from Jamaica. She was working in the cleaners for 25 cents an hour. When I was in school, we had that fight where the Panamanians wanted to fight the Americans, took away the whole hospital and stuff. I was there when that happened also. So it's a good story. Very good.
I am Generación 64 Instituto Nacional. I have all my books, I have my distinction, I have a lot of things that whenever anything is going on in the canal, we are the VIPs and we go up there. Oh, I sent you, I think once, a picture in which I am up there with my classmates. Why? Because we built this.
Right.
We have to stop standing in the back. And my husband knows, he can tell you, I don't sit anywhere I go. I do not sit in the back. I sit in the front.
My aunt was working.
I do it.
My aunt was working in Balboa with the commissary.
Who was your aunt?
Beryl Daisley. My granddaughter.
Okay. The laundry, the women were working in the laundry. That's what the women do. They work in the laundry. They will be cook. They could be housemaids. But they add you till after they started to accept the women. That even the blacks of colonial blacks were pushed until they were able to get into the schools and be very forceful.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have another question. I was told that even when, like, you sort of touched on it, Grace, that the people that were born in Panama weren't accepted as Panamanian or anybody, so they weren't really, they couldn't really get like birth records and stuff officially. They were about 8. Some people didn't get it till just the other day that they were really born there and could get a record that says. Like,
not really the other day. In 63, after the incident.
63 was the other day, considering they were there since 1908.
Yes, well, okay, yes. Oh, okay. Well, listen, what happened is this. With the Vietnam War, a lot of the boys that were born in the canal zone went up to Gargas Hospital and got their birth certificate. And since there was not the changeover, they accepted them as US citizen, and they were even able to go to the States like if they were US citizen and join the army. But what the Panamanian government started to say, they said, no, those people, you taking out the boys from there to send them to your army and we're not getting anything. So they start, as usual, when those things come up, they start fighting over bodies. So then the Panamanian government claimed that those people that born in those communities are supposed to be Panamanians. But what is the problem that we had? When you go over there to the registro, the registry, and you give your name, you know, and Ilma, you can say that you probably have people that have that experience. You call your name one way and they write it how they feel like.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
I have my uncle should be Ronald Delroy, the foolish woman that don't even know to write, they'll say. And they write the name, what they feel like writing it. Well, I had a grandmother. My grandmother was Costa Rican, but you know, she learned to speak Spanish when she went to New York because she was more speaking English. And when she got there, she said she's not using no mango tree lawyer. I don't know if you all know what is a mango tree lawyer.
Oh, explain.
Some of the slangs that I have is Jamaican slangs and some is Barbadian slang when she's speaking to me.
It's probably like saying it's a lawyer. It's probably like saying it's a lawyer from the standpipe.
Oh, okay. But we call that mango tree lawyer. That he wasn't prepared to be any lawyer, but he think he know, and he more than you. You think that he know more than you, and he charge you to do the same thing that you could walk up and get done. And that's why my grandmother says she don't use no mango tree lawyer, that whatever Spanish she's going to talk, they're going to understand her. And if that they're going to be in problem. And that's how I was prepared with somebody that my grandmother was not easy to deal with. And she wasn't scared of none of them.
Question for you, Grace.
Yeah.
You used a word or expression, and I missed the second half of it when you were talking about the deaf men that would go into the tunnels and they had to like set the dynamite and whatnot, and a lot of them died because they didn't hear the warning to come out of the tunnel before the explosion.
Yeah.
You call that Pueblo something.
Culebra cut.
Okay.
Culebra cut.
Okay.
Culebra is snake cut. Culebra is a snake because it is very windy. So they call that place Culebra cut. And plenty time it wasn't in the cave. It's just that it's a big mountain that they had to drill through to come from one ocean to the other ocean. Even though it's not a sea level canal. It's different levels, but you blow down that part. But the dynamite. So when they put in the dynamite, you have to let the person that is there know, and then they're going to whistle. So they give you a certain amount of time. So when to press her for it to blow, when they whistle, you're supposed to get out of the way. But strychnine that is for the malaria left them deaf. Who is going to leave you all out a big distance to come and call which black man?
Right.
To tell him to come out of the way. So when the train to come got on to Cologne with the bodies, was a very sad sight to see. Blood is just thrown out in the cart to bring them, and they have like a common burying place for them.
So is there like not a monument, but is there a place that's designated by this name?
Okay, this place that named Culebra Cut, when the ships going through there, they pass Culebra Cut. But every year in the month of August, we have a group that is the Society of Afro-Descendants, Panamanian Afro-Descendants. In that museum, we support that museum. We have a group that we have like activities. It names SAMAP. I can send you the information. And what we do is every year, there's we make what you call a peregrination, what you call it. We go on the ship, and when we reach there, we throw flowers. Why? You can't take the bodies out of there. That's the grave. And we insist to tell them they need to put a monument. We are asking for a monument because that's a burial ground. But to put a monument and to be emphasizing that is a burial ground is a reason of shame. I don't know if you all have this experience, but people that discriminate don't like you to discriminate, don't like you to tell them that they discriminate. You know that. Because they say, oh, you're so sensitive. Oh, but when they do things that is not right, you have to let them know. And this month that we have at the Afro-Descendant, if you go to all over, if you go to the stores, no, because of this, they have clothes, they have wraps, because you know this wrap that I have on my head, the way I wrap it, it's wrapped like the especially what we used to call it jump up people used to use, spiritual people. I don't know if you know what the spiritual people are. They have like groups that they are spiritualists, and then they rap, they take it and they roll it. You just stand in the back and then you roll it and you fix it. That's one of the raps. There are many raps. Now we have a day in which everybody wrap their hair, white, but whatever color. Everybody was put in their plaits. Why? Because we have been insisting, and it has been so good that not only us, we have promoted the old month. The clothes that we use, because the schools support it, the children have to put on their dresses, and you know our clothes is colorful. And if it's a blouse like what Arlene have on, many of them feel that the blouse is supposed to have on a lion prince, because in these people's mind, in school, all the teachers that all Africa has, what Africa has? Lion, tigers, and that's all they have. They have wild animal and they have wild people. And the people that came to Africa, they were savages, you know. You have them savages, and all of them, especially for white, they're looking at you to see how they can get to touch you. And you know that is a lie. Most of those white women look like something that dry up. And our men are custom. And one of the things then that we have, I can't get into all what but one of the things then that we have, even here in Panama, when you see our girls and you look at them, and when they mix, when they pass you, and an hour after, they're still passing because you see the backside. What is more? We have a group. Lord Jimmy, and you let me loose. Pour me now. Pour you. But anyhow, we have a group named Rabanes. Everybody, all the young people jump at the Rabanes when the Rabanes singing. And this is not today. And the Rabanes have a song. And they sing it. And they say, you know, they say, si no tiene backside, no puede caminar en la avenida central. And I translate. If you don't have any backside, don't walk on Central Avenue. Ain't nobody going to look at you. Because when we walk in, our big joke is you're walking. We walking, the two of us, we walking, and we pass a man and we say, let's catch him. And when we look back, what is he doing?
You're looking at the backside.
Because you're looking at the backside.
You know, and you carry your heritage.
Huh?
That's where you carry your heritage.
That's where you carry your heritage. But remember, when you're growing up, and say, Lord, you need to use a what? Girdle. Girdle to take in what? I don't use no girdle. I never use no girdle. And my guardafango is good. They call it a guardafango. It's a decent guardafango. So these are the things that is our heritage. This is our beauty. That we have to realize that everybody knows. We don't have to look like the white people knows. Our mouth don't have to look like the white people mouth. People paying for this thing. Angelina Jolie. How much money she pay to thick? And my mouth is not that thick like that. She pay to get your mouth thick. I have a friend, that's Corozal Cemetery, but that is mostly the French. No, it's Corozal. That's where the blacks are buried. Some of the blacks are buried there.
I think my uncle is buried there.
Your uncle is buried there?
I think so.
You see the side, you see two parts to Corozal Cemetery? You see the side that dilapidated, and the other side is the white people, where the white people are. You see the side? Because even the discriminate, even in death. I don't know what they're going to do in heaven. Because when Christ come and they say all them black people from Africa up there, they're going to set it, they're going to set it in the wrong place. Because the discrimination was even in the church, especially in the Catholic Church. They have a side where blacks sit and a side where whites sit. Wow. That is not for me. So that is the scenario that has been all over the place. But one thing here in Panama, we are very belligerent. And when we have to talk up, we have to talk up. And if you ever hear about me in the news, if they do me anything in the news and they say anything that I was out there talking, is true. It's not a lie.
So it sounds like Sandra is going to be visiting. Sandra, you're going to be going in July. Are you still with us?
Sandra Blackett. Oh,
coming in and out.
Well,
Of course, Panama is much different.
Disconnect, yeah.
It's very nice.
On our audio now.
All over and everything like that. But we're still there. We're still there. A lot to push, and we are not keeping quiet. And our young people are very, very active, and they are not afraid. And that is the best thing. You know, we know who we are, where we are coming from, and we still don't reach where we're going yet.
how about with regards to vaccines? Are you guys pretty open to getting the vaccines? Are you moving forward with getting vaccinated?
I am going on Thursday this week.
Good, good.
It's my date, so I have to get it rescheduled.
I'm booked next Saturday.
We
I
are
had one.
fully vaccinated.
Yeah, that's been since February.
Good. So,
I
have
heard
one
so
on
many things that I just got
Wednesday.
kind of scared.
okay, so in Panama, Grace, starting with you,
Yeah.
how, and I hear that you haven't been vaccinated. So what's the rest of Panama like?
A lot of people are going and getting their vaccination because they're doing it by area and by age. The first that took the over 60s and the teachers and
Well,
they
how
have
come they-
AstraZeneca, so anybody can go.
How come they took over 60s and you still didn't get yours?
I tell you that I didn't go. I had my date on the 29th of April. I'm rescheduling.
Oh, Sandra's open up again.
We
Sandra,
decided to be a little rebellious, but we are rescheduling.
Okay. Because we want to come to Panama, but we want to come to a country where, you know, most people feel like it's
Yes,
worthwhile
most
to
people
get.
is vaccinated.
Okay.
I will get mine. I need to talk to, I just need to talk to a few people and that's it. But I've been so busy writing a book.
Well, you can't talk the talk unless you walk the walk. You're talking up Panama. How can we come visit? Can't even come visit you because you haven't been vaccinated.
Between now and then I'll be vaccinated.
All right. Okay.
she's pretty careful when she goes out. I can tell you.
Yeah,
that.
I'm careful.
Jimmy, I have a question.
Yes.
Suppose you haven't been vaccinated, but you have the antibodies. Is that the same?
Who are you talking to?
Anybody?
I don't know the answer to that.
How do you get the antibody? Oh, you brought that because you probably had
Because you had it.
Yeah, antibodies are
How
because you
long
got
does
the
the
virus.
antibodies protect you? That is the question that they cannot answer. How
Right.
long does it protect you? The problem is, I had a doctor that once told me that my big problem is that I know too much. I must have a scientific mind. You see?
So
And then when they put in these things, I just be reading and I know, when you tell me about this, I read it and, you know, you question all of these things.
I'm
And-
like you, I question everything.
Yeah, but sometimes it's good when you don't know. When you don't know, it's sometimes
No,
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I'm
So with
There's no problem with questioning, you know. There's nothing wrong with questioning, you know.
I
Now,
think
what are you going to do? You're not going to get the vaccine until you get all of your answers?
Me? No, I'm going to get the vaccine.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
the
with the
recommendation
antibodies,
is, even though you may have the antibiotics, they still saying to get vaccinated because you don't know how long the antibodies are going to stay.
Going to protect you.
exactly, and you can get the virus twice. So like, even if they protect you, they're only going to protect you for a certain amount of time, and nobody knows how long that is. So
Right.
it's safer to get the vaccine.
Okay, I have a friend in Barbados that died last Monday. The thing about it is she got her husband had it, and they did a test, and you know, they take 5 days to come back. So the first test came back and said negative, but they were in quarantine for 5 days. So then they did the second test. The results for the second test came back on Monday. And guess when she died? On Monday. The same day she got the results, that she was probably net positive. She only lasted an hour.
But she didn't have symptoms. She had symptoms.
Well, I guess she was I don't think so, because I spoke to her, but the husband has some, and he's down St. Lucie, and he's in a bad way, but but they did a test. The first test came back negative because they had them quarantined at home for 5 days. Right, and then they did the second test, and I guess her son came back negative, and the daughter's positive because the daughter is down St. Lucie with his father right now. But she got the results, say, a couple of hours before she died of COVID. Does that make sense?
How long
maybe she
after?
was negative the first time. I mean, because it could change in a
I know it could be negative, but I'm saying then they did a second test after 5 days, so which means in a space of 10 days, she died of COVID. And the thing that I think hurt a lot of people is she got the results the same day, couple of hours, she got the results, and then she died.
She should have had symptoms, Ari. She should have had symptoms.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, though.
Not necessarily, because I didn't know I had it. I only felt a little weak for like 3 days in November, and I went and got my black seed oil and my zinc and everything, and then I was fine. And then in February, when I did my physical, I asked them to do both tests, and that's when they said, "Oh, you have antibodies," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know."
Yeah, but without symptoms, she shouldn't have died.
She died the same day she got her results back.
Hmm.
You know, Barbados,
How
they're
old was
all
she?
over the place.
What is she?
How
Died of
old
what?
was she?
Huh?
What did
How
she
old
die
was
of?
she?
Had to be COVID. She got the positive results and she died the same day.
That doesn't mean
You have to find out.
she died from COVID, though.
That's what they're gonna put it down as. That's what they're gonna put it down as. She died at home.
Yes,
She wasn't
that's
even
what
in
they're
the
gonna put it.
hospital. That's what they're gonna put it down as because she had
Correct.
a positive test. And she
And
had a
Yvonne was asking, how old was she?
66.
How old?
66.
66.
Yeah. Right. And her husband right now is he's fighting for his life. But she took care of him anyway. But this is the thing I don't understand. I might be stupid, but if you have a person in the house that is so sick, shouldn't you move everybody out? They have 2 points. They don't go to the hospital. They have special places. Too bad David isn't here. The way they send them. I would not leave anybody that was that sick, the whole family, and I would put them, say, up Christchurch. But the thing is, after she died in the house, everybody that was anywhere near there, they put them up Christchurch and put the daughter down St. Lucie, because I guess the daughter was either test positive and the rest didn't, or she was in a worse way. But if you got somebody in the house that is that far gone and they were in that much close contact, I would have moved them right away and treat them like, instead of
Anybody that,
that way.
listen, anybody with any symptoms, you put them separate.
That's what they have a separate place where, and that's where they will go. Considering they dragged somebody to the house that was so far gone and he was in real bad shape, I wouldn't leave them in the house and you know, I would have taken them to the other place.
I think
you could always
this is not a game, Ari. People have to realize that even though they're getting the vaccination, that they have to take certain precautions. You have to wash your hands. If you go out, you come home, you wash your hand, you wash your face, you take a shower before you leave. When you come back home, you take a shower. You put on your alcohol and your body, and you drink your teas. There's all kinds of teas, fever grass tea, all kinds of teas that you can take. And the zinc, Topaz take her zinc. I take my zinc, I take my vitamin D and my multiple vitamin.
Don't forget the turmeric. Turmeric is there.
And the turmeric too. I take the turmeric.
A guy told me yesterday that in New York, I don't know if you know about this, Topaz, that they have we call it, what do you call it? The potion. It consists of turmeric, lemon, ginger, and garlic.
I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that one on the internet.
He says he drinks it every day.
There you go. And I think that unfortunately, when people get the vaccine, they feel like they're protected.
Yes.
That's because everybody thinks it's a cure-all. All it does is it stops you from getting the symptoms to the point where you have to be hospitalized, and it reduces the point where you can communicate it, but it's not 100%. And a lot of people are not realizing that.
Right.
Right. And people get the vaccine and then they just go around talking to people. And I'm like, no, you need to be like away.
And they want to go partying. And that's the big problem.
Yeah.
Well, I was in a store the other day and the man said to me, back up, COVID. I said, okay, I'm sorry. 'Cause I wanted to look.
Thank you.
I was trying to get something. I wanted to look at it, the computer screen that he was actually looking for the people, you know, and he says, back up, back up.
Did he have a mask on?
Me? Yeah, he had one on. I had one on.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But I like to see what's going on when, you know.
My aunt-in-law, she was an older woman, about 80, and I think she might have had high blood pressure, but she was fine. She took the vaccine, the first one, she was fine. She took the second one, and then they started seeing her being delirious. Then they put her in the hospital to check her heart and everything. They said, okay, she's stabilizing. Her daughter goes, sees her, they talk and everything. And then that night she passed.
When it's your time, it's your time. Is all you can
Just don't tell me that because that's what I say to myself.
Less than 10 days. It was less than 10 days from the second shot.
Maybe she already had it in her.
Very.
I just feel like it's going to impact everybody differently, and we don't know how it changes your DNA.
I don't think it could change your DNA, but I would still be careful because one of the issues I had is that they're telling everybody here, oh, just take whatever shot you can get when it's available. It's like, well, that may work for anybody that doesn't have pre-existing conditions, etc., but that doesn't work for everybody because the AstraZeneca has issue with blood clots, and so does Johnson & Johnson, and I have a very bad history with blood clots. I'm never going to take those vaccines. Not gonna happen.
But you're past 50 anyway, so.
I am, but still, I almost got killed from blood clots 7 years ago. I'm not gonna take anything that will cause blood clots. And then Pfizer has an issue with people with allergies. I've done a bit more research on that, so I'm not so bad on that one. So I'm actually gonna get the Pfizer vaccine. And what they're doing here now is if you take Pfizer and you tell them that you have a history with allergies, they keep you a half an hour longer to monitor you before they release you from the vaccination place.
Thank you. I didn't know that. So I cannot take Pfizer.
I cannot. Over 60.
With Pfizer, they said it's if you have severe allergies. So if you have allergies to the point where you need an EpiPen, that's where you could run into issues. But I would still be careful.
Yeah, I got the Pfizer.
No allergies?
No, the first one was no problem at all. The second one, I just got a little tired, and I was in bed the whole day. The next day, well, most of the day, just as my body started, actually fighting and actually taking in the vaccine. So. It was anticipated, a lot of people on that second dose, the stronger dose, their body will start to go in overdrive, and then, they'll just kind of feel tired and just, once you sleep it off, you're good to go the next day.
That's what Mama gets.
Hennessy with that too.
What's that?
Sleep it off,
yeah, that's one of my favorite drinks, actually. But yeah, I mean, it's a personal decision. The vaccine is a personal decision. Obviously, enough people have been vaccinated to the point where, they're starting to loosen up a lot of things. But still, they need to get more data and more people, getting vaccinated, and to see what, of course, it's a big experiment, and we're the ones that, we
are the guinea pigs.
We're the guinea pigs. So, but the alternative is to keep things shut down, and, and to wear our masks for the rest of our lives.
Well, wait a minute. Isn't the New York baseball team supposedly fully vaccinated, and they have 9 guys that have COVID?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I don't know the particulars behind all that. I don't know. Did anybody have COVID while they were getting vaccinated? You know, I mean, and
understand
again,
they've been vaccinated for a while.
you can still catch it. You know, you can still catch COVID even if you are vaccinated, and transmit it to somebody else.
There you go.
You may be okay, because it's doing what it's supposed to do, but you may transmit it to somebody who is not vaccinated and get them sick.
Yeah.
I think they said
Exactly.
the vaccine only help you not to die from it. That's
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But what in that case, what Topaz just said, the lady got the vaccine and she died.
And
But
then
we
they,
don't know
they
how
also
long
said,
it
Continue the same cares that you do all the time.
right. And I read that if you have the antibodies and you take the vaccine, that could be bad also.
Right. And that's because, you know, your body, it's supposed to fight off, especially the RNA, you know, based vaccines are supposed to fight. They're supposed to go into a body where it doesn't have to fight the real vaccine. So if you have, I mean, the real disease, if you have the real disease and you have that RNA technology going in you, then I don't think that it's going to be effective. You know, it's going to end up fighting the real virus when it's not supposed to.
Canceling what is protecting you.
Right.
And that's the problem, because
Right.
there's a
So
lot of people that probably have it
natural-
that don't know.
Right.
So the natural antibodies are probably the best.
I think so.
But the
your body
problem
already
is,
adjusted.
yeah, but the problem is because I thought when this thing first kicked off, I thought that I had COVID like that January, because my whole family was down and out. Right after Christmas, we were all sick, and you know, before March, before they shut everything down in March. And when I went to the doctor, just to get a test for antibodies, they told me that, and it was several months after, they told me that it's probably not worth getting tested for the antibodies because they're probably gone out of your body by this time, is what they told me.
You see, that's not true.
But that's what they told me.
I know, because they didn't want to run the test.
No pass.
They probably don't
They
know
don't know
anyway.
nothing. You know what's the problem with COVID? They don't know anything. And
Thank
people are
you.
supposed to learn that when they don't know, they shut up them, or they're supposed to say, I don't know.
you can't do that.
A lot of things that they
But
don't
they should be doing that because we know they don't know.
we don't know. We know they don't know.
So how long do you think the antibodies will stay in
That's
your body
for
after, if you've had it?
I
No,
don't
all
know.
I know is I didn't feel good in November, and I didn't go to my doctor until February, and that was just for a regular physical. So he did the nose test and he did the blood test for the antibodies. And he said, you have antibodies in your system. And I was like, okay. I have it documented so that when I go back to work, I can say I have antibodies, because they're trying to push everybody to get vaccinated. But they can't legally make you do it, but they're pushing for it.
Yeah, but if they are the equal employment opportunity office has pretty much granted permission to employers to fire people if they don't take the vaccine. They're not taking it, especially if they are at will. If they are an at will company, that means that you can leave for whatever reason you want, or they could fire you for whatever reason they want.
That's my
But
situation.
doesn't that go against the
Wow.
HIPAA laws? Doesn't that
It's
go
not,
against
it
the
doesn't
laws?
have to be, it doesn't, again, if you're at will, you can fire people for any reason you want. And if you, and does it go against the HIPAA law to ask somebody if they've been vaccinated? I don't know. But if you ask them and they say no, you know, without a HIPAA lawyer, then you know, they have the ability to fire you because they're at will.
Wow.
The other thing is, if you want to travel and you don't have the vaccine, it could be difficult because some places are not letting you in if you haven't had a vaccine passport.
But here's the thing, you can buy one of them now off the internet.
I don't know what a vaccine passport
I mean,
is.
what are you gonna do? You don't know if it's real or not because they're actually selling them on the internet.
Yeah,
And
but
then some
what is
countries
it?
are not
What is a
asking about
vaccine? What is a
vaccination.
vaccine passport? Because I don't know if we've started doing that here yet.
It's something that the travel companies and the countries were looking into to give you a document that says that you're fully vaccinated and you're good to travel.
Yeah, but have they done that?
I don't think it's official yet.
That's what, but they
They were
selling them off
talking
the
about it.
internet.
I know they were talking about it. I mean, I have my little card that says I've been vaccinated, but I don't know what that's going to do for me.
They got to issue them by the government where they put in a watermark.
Yep.
They're gonna need a watermark because, like I said, there you can buy one of those little cards you have, Jimmy. That's
Yeah.
been fully vaccinated, even if you haven't. People are
Yeah.
making money on those already.
Now that scam, I have heard about that. I've heard about that scam.
Listen, people have been coming in the country with counterfeit negative tests already, so that shouldn't be hard for them to counterfeit.
In Panama, you need to have the test to come in. The negative test.
Yeah. Well, you know what? In my lifetime, I never thought I would see this, but you know, I guess if you live long enough, you'll see all kinds of stuff.
Probably not the last one either. So.
Yep.
No, not at all.
Well, I have to say, Grace, you've taken us well into our social hour. That was a very, very beautiful representation of Panama. I hope that the pictures that I was showing, I hope that was, you know, a little bit entertaining, as you know, to keep up with what you were saying. Because what you were saying, I just wish that I had, you know, if we had talked and I had pictures to go along with everything you said, that would have been really cool. But I tried to keep up, but you know, what you were saying, you didn't even need pictures because I was imagining everything that you were saying.
But you know, she said there were over 200,000 Barbadians that went to Panama.
Mm-hmm.
The population of Barbados is what, 240 something thousand?
250,000.
Well, yeah, 250,000 people in Barbados. So
well, over the years,
the whole of Barbados actually
over the years.
Yeah, I would imagine over the years
the whole of Barbados actually moved. But you know what did happen? Talk about how they worked really hard, like for 5 cents. There was our friend Sheila, her grandfather and a group of men save up 250 something thousand. I guess it was Bajan dollar. I can't remember. I got to read.
No, dollars, American dollars.
I think it was American. I'm not sure. And sent it to Barbados. Yeah. And they bought 3 plantations down St. Peter and 2 in St. James. And one man decided to sell everything, and people that put the money up in Panama never got 5 cents back. Interest
was
no
US dollars.
Yep. And they bought 5 plantations with that. And one plantation, I think that they sold for over $1 million.
Wow.
And
Arlene, you were trying to say something?
I have 2 questions. And is there anyone here that's on the committee with Zelma on the Barbados reunion?
I'm Pat, supposed
all
to be.
right. I wanted to know if the questionnaire is ready, the survey rather.
We haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mari's your best bet.
And we reached out on WhatsApp, but haven't gotten a response back.
Okay. I sent her a note as well because I wanted to put the information. Well, we were supposed to put the survey in the newsletter.
Right. She had gotten very far on it. I'd be surprised if it weren't ready. So we just need to track her down and see what kind of finishing. She probably wants to put some kind of finishing touches or something on it, but it was pretty much ready to go.
Yeah. And my second question is, when you record these sessions, I know you probably told us before, how do we access them after the fact?
YouTube.
Yeah, but it's up to me to put it on YouTube. So it would have been really easy, and I may look into this to just buy extra money or extra space on Zoom, because they get recorded to Zoom.
Right.
But they don't have like the titles. When you go to YouTube, you'll see a title or something at the beginning of it. And I might even put some flashy, notations during the middle. That's all being edited, but that takes time. Now, to get them up there immediately, it might be worthwhile to just get extra space on Zoom, because Zoom at the end of the meeting will tell me, hey, your recording's done, here's the link. And I could just send you guys the link.
Right.
It won't be edited or anything. It'll just be just how we see it here. So I may do that, just so that it's there. And then, but there won't be, I don't think I can put it on YouTube in that format. I would have to, convert it and then put it on YouTube. But maybe, who needs YouTube if you have the link straight to the Zoom recorded session?
And it's okay to have the rough version. I mean, we don't need it.
Yeah, so I'll look and see whatever, because I only I'll record like one session on Zoom before I get a notification that I'm out of space. And so then what I typically do is I download it from Zoom, I edit it, and then upload it to YouTube. So it may just behoove me to get additional space so that I can keep maybe 2-3 sessions on Zoom. But then I would eventually have to remove it from Zoom and put it up to maybe archive it on YouTube.
Oh, Jimmy, I have one question.
Yeah.
I know that you're very busy, and I know we all appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
When you do have time, is it possible to ensure that this special one goes up on YouTube?
This
I
one
want
here?
to be able to show it to the children.
Yeah, for sure. Stuff like this, I need to make the time,
Okay.
Thank you for saying that.
Thank you. Arlene, I can send you what I wrote.
Okay.
You can edit it and whatever.
Because I was gonna ping you after this was over.
Well, Topaz is giving you a little bit of support by saying, just get the thing on YouTube, Jimmy.
You haven't put any up on YouTube since last year, have you? Have you put any from this year?
And now Ari's getting on my case.
Hey,
no, you have enough. You have enough.
Partners, remember, I got your back, buddy. I got your back.
Okay, well, I'm going to work on it.
Send it to Harry so she can help you.
Okay.
I'm on his side. He knows that. I got his back.
All right, guys. It's 3:17 now.
I just want to thank everybody for all the well wishes they sent to his mother. He said that I guess he's planning to go to Antigua. Because he said, because we wanted to get her on today. Me, I did some investigating and everything in Antigua. He said when he gets to Antigua, he's going to set up a Zoom.
Oh, okay.
And we'll have a Zoom with her. And Topaz, you saw the video, right? You saw Harrison's video?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good.
And Ari, get in contact with Sandra and tell her to give me a call. And let's see what time she's coming in Panama and where she's going to be.
She disappeared again. I'm going to see, I don't know where, I think she's on that Barbados thing with thing. I'll see if I can track her down for you.
Okay, good, fine. Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else have anything?
Nope. Oh, Ari?
Yes, sweetie.
Okay, I was just letting you know I did contact my cousin in regards to trying to get my uncle on. So he said he's going to work on that.
Okay, that's another one that's gonna be 100 in July.
Yeah, he'll be 100 on
Oh.
So
July
we're having
3rd.
so I'm trying to get him on here because he's gonna be like another centurion, so. I would love
Yes.
to have him and Hyson on at the same time. I think that would be a hoot.
Mhm.
Well, look who showed up. Who showed their face, I should say.
Ari, I have a question, and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think I mentioned this to Pat. Maybe we could put together some questions because
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
remembers
You're breaking up.
he remembers Gus. I think he remembers grandma, great grandma.
Hmm? All I got was out of that
Can
was
you hear
great
me?
grandma. We got out of that was great grandma.
My great grandma.
Okay.
My great grandma.
Okay. I figured that's what you meant.
Yeah. They used to call her Gussie.
Well, she was Augustus, was a middle name.
Right. Well, they used to call her
So they
Gussie,
called
and
her
she,
Gussie.
Okay.
from what I understand, she helped raise them.
Who? Your uncle and them?
My great grand. Well, yeah. My uncles and my aunts and my dad.
Sounds good. Well, we can work on that, the three of us. Anytime
Okay.
anybody's ready, let me know. Hi, Henry.
Okay.
Bye, Henry.
Hey, Henry.
Hey, family. I've been here all along. It's just I've been
That's what I said. You
moving,
don't show your face.
cooking,
You didn't
and
invite us?
everything.
Yeah.
But I just want to say first, if I could get a chance, I also want to thank you very much, Grace, for that presentation. It was so informational, educational, and inspirational as well, because, growing up, you hear bits and pieces of history and culture and things of that nature, but when you get someone that has such an in-depth knowledge and understanding of the history, their identification, and also their position of where they are in that society, that is a gift that no money can buy. So me, for one, I just want to thank you for that, because you really gave me a lot more than I've ever had as far as Panamanian history, culture, and the connection of Barbados to Panama.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good for Yvonne as well, because her husband was Panamanian, so it's good for her kids to know that.
Yes, exactly. So I
Exactly.
really appreciate the information. In fact, Grace, when you talked about the young boys, that they used them as water boys, I was thinking about, were they like getting them ready to then work on the canal as well?
Of course, as a laborer. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Listen, the story is not, remember what they were using them for was for the menial labor. And many times what happened, some of the people that came from the West Indian, they were artisans, they could work, carpenters and all of those things. But what they'll do, they take the white man to be the boss, the black man does the work and pay him less.
Still happening today.
Helpers.
Still happening today.
Yes. I have a story of my father-in-law that he was once they had him use him as a policeman in the black community. And when the salary went up for the white people, they took him and just put him as a guard so that he wouldn't get the salary. And he told his children, you're not supposed to work on the canal zone. But my eldest daughter, which is my Herbert eldest sister, she became a medical doctor and she did never work on the canal zone. But my husband and George, yes, some of them did work over there. It was always that resilient, you don't want to work over there because of the treatment. Because when you go, you'd see the water had the system different. To go to the commissary, they had one side of the commissary for blacks, one side of the commissary for white. Herbert tell you stories. If Herbert was to tell you the stories of that, they didn't get any bread and they had to go to the commissary, they had to go to the back, and some lady that worked in the commissary had to send them the bread because they couldn't go into the white people's side.
Probably get there old boy too.
What is more, I am a Seventh-day Adventist and I go to a church in Balboa. Herbert said he remembered as a child passing by that church because that was a white people church.
Well,
Anybody else have any questions for Grace?
It was very interesting that I was born in Panama, and I'm learning the whole history where I left very, very early, but I'm learning. I saw some things that I remember.
You remember?
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
The history was beautiful.
Yeah. Ross, were you trying to say something?
Gracias, chica bella.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ross. You're on mute.
I wanted her to explain a little more about what she was talking about when she was talking about the turban and the spiritualism. How did that relate?
We, the West Indians, are very spiritual. No? This is it. You carry it, you knot it. This is what the spiritual people use, and you just wrap it around. You know? You just spin it in the back, or they use something bigger than this. So what do? Turbans is something that Black people always use. The spiritual people were the people that used to have what we call a jump up church, in which they have a mother. I don't know if you all have had that in Barbados. There's a woman that directs everything, and they call her, we had Mother Davis, Mother Lindo, and they was a kind of mixture of the African religion with like what we call a syncretism, in which you have the African religion along with a little Catholicism and a little bit of Protestantism, in which what they'll have sometimes of the year for Good Friday time, they'll go to what they call wilderness, but generally they have a place, a room in which they have service, and they'll make what they call a seal. And when they make the seal, they use, I think they use bread, they use white ginger, they use a lot of protein, and then they'll dress with this, and then they'll have on white. This will be white, and they have on a white dress. And they jump, they talk, they sing the songs, and they jump around to get the spirit. I don't know if you have ever seen that. Have you ever seen that, Rosh?
Yes, I've seen it, but I just wanted to clarify how relative.
Because with the religious part, you know, that is religious. In Panama, what is Protestantism came with the people that came from Jamaica and come from Barbados, and that because the people here were mostly Catholics. Okay. So to jump up, the people, the spiritual part was used. Now, today we don't have a lot of spiritual people. We have what they call, I said is a relief of it, is a santeros. You know what is a santeria? Like in Cuba, they have a lot of it, santeria.
Yeah.
You know, it's a kind of mixture. What they do is they take the saints, because certain times of the year, the jump up people will use either green or pink, which is St. Jude's color. Because they use the saints too. Sometimes they use the saints, they use the Bible, and they have, the mother is the one that she takes care, and then they have the shepherds.
Okay.
So, Grace,
I've lived long, that's why I know so much.
Grace,
yes.
let me ask you, they use that like to hide them still practicing their African religion, because if they were to practice it, that was against I guess the Christianity doctrine.
No, because they are Christian. You can tell them that they're not a Christian. They read the Bible. They're talking about Jesus and everything. But it's just their way of worshiping. It's a different way of worshiping with different practices. And some of the things they take it from when they're making the celebration and the procession of St. Jude in the Catholic Church, they celebrate in St. Jude time too. So what's wrong with what they're doing? Right now, the Santeria, the Santeros, every one of the saints in the Catholic Church, they have an equal one in the Santeros religion. You know that? If you see it, it's not something that I practice, but you know what is going on around you. But it's not the hiding thing. And And the rap is a way of identifying that this is who I am. And remember, when you go into a sacred place, one of the customs is that you cover your head, especially the woman. The men don't cover their head, but the woman supposed to cover their head. And they can tie their hair like yours, but generally they have a big wrap and that's what they use.
Okay.
Rudy.
Because of the sacredness of it. I don't know
Thank
if
you.
Question, Raj?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Raj, could I ask you a favor?
Yes, you answered my question.
Before we go, can you lead us in a little prayer?
Okay,
Whenever Jimmy's ready, he'll tell you.
I'm ready.
Okay, so is everybody clear? All heads clear? All questions answered?
Yes.
Okay, Rosh, go ahead.
Almighty Yah, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Yaakov, we call upon you, Yah, to look down upon this family, to open up doors that we may be able to reconnect with the family all over the country, all over the world. Thank you, Yah, for the understanding. Thank you for those who participated to get it started. And thank you for all of our lives today. I ask you to remove any disease, send your angel Raphael to begin to heal each and every one of the family members and their children. You are Yah. Besides you, we understand that you're the power that is able to do anything that you desire. So we turn our hands over to you, most Holy One, our Creator of the heaven and earth. And thank you for all of us being able to participate in communication. Hallelujah. 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 Amen.
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 Okay, thank you.
So thank you all. Thank you. Special thanks to Grace and Ross. Thank you for that wonderful prayer. We will see you guys in another 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
Anybody notice we had
Thank you,
detention
Grace.
today? Jimmy.
Okay.
What's that?
Anybody
Thank
notice
you.
we had detention today? It's 3:30.
Right.
Yes.
But it was well worth it, right?
Right.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Later.
Bye.